How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Yeah, my cat decided to join me today, and I felt like being nice and not making a move, so yeah, he's chilling. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you do, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. It helps out, means a ton. You guys get plenty of fun stuff. So, the whole idea about Kirara Hoshi's curse technique was first brought to me by one of my wonderful subscribers and commenters, Moonchan, so shout out to her. And actually, she even brought it to my attention before New World Reviews put up his review, and then I also saw it in there, and he was talking about the same thing with the Crux constellation and Imai, the word that was written on Panda's butt next to the star. Well, that is a star, a very prominent star in the Crux constellation. Hoshi also means star in Japanese. Once again, thank you New World for that one. And she has stars for her eyes. She also put a star on Panda's butt and on the doorway. And yeah, so much stuff referencing stars. And Imai is a star in the Crux constellation. So this is leading a lot of people to think that their curse technique has to do something with constellations, stars, something like this. Well, we know so far that due to some rule in the curse technique, people who are marked, at least you assume they have to be marked. Panda was marked, so I guess maybe they marked Megami. I have no idea. Anyway, going along with the constellation idea, people not being able to get a certain distance to Hoshi, being stuck away at a certain distance to where they can't move closer. Well, one thing this immediately makes me think of is, well, if you look at a constellation from one day to the next, to the next, to the next, the stars don't get any closer. They're always stuck at the same distance. There he goes. Always stuck at the same distance. So that would kind of make sense, translating to an effect that we've seen from the curse technique. Now, we did see sparks over top of everybody's head. Hoshi, Panda, Megami, even his divine dog, Cone Totality. A spark went above all of their heads. At least I believe there was one over Cone as well. I can't remember, doesn't matter. Spark over their head. And I don't know how that relates to a constellation. That could have possibly just been Akutami visually indicating to us that the curse technique has taken effect, at least in a certain way. Granted, that's kind of weird because we already saw Totality get pushed away or blasted away from Hoshi very quickly when it was first brought out, while Hoshi hadn't even gotten close to Megami or Panda or anything. So I don't know the exact inner workings, obviously, but we still want to speculate a bit because, you know, that's fun, and we do a little bit more speculating and discussing on this channel rather than coming up with full theories. I'm dumb. I don't know how to come up with full theory. I mean, I could probably try. I probably could if I tried, but maybe for a later date when I have a little more free time to put towards all the videos. I also think it's important to state that not all of the effects of the curse technique have to be something that relates to stars or constellations. This can be the basis for the curse technique, and then the rules can branch off from there. So yeah, there's a lot of intricacy that can go into this, and I'm sure however Akutami decides to do it, it will be absolutely brilliant and cool like usual because he's just an absolute genius. So one idea I did actually kind of have is some constellations have more stars in them than others. Now, the Crux constellation has like a lot of stars in it, but the 4 that make the cross and the 5th one that's typically also put on there, those are the most prominent, the brightest, the biggest stars of the constellation. An idea I've come up with is, depending on however many opponents there are, Hoshi might have to pick a different constellation to use through their curse technique in order to make it activate properly. So if there's 4 people being affected, Hoshi would use the Crux constellation because typically it is thought of as the Southern Cross. That is another name for it. A cross having 4 points. That means 4 people can be affected by the curse technique when using the Crux version of it. Say there's 5 people in the fight. Maybe Hoshi would have to pick a constellation that involved 5 major stars. Something like that. 3 people, a constellation. Are there constellations with 3 major stars? Does Orion's belt only have 3 major stars, or is there more than that? I can't remember. Either way, depending on the amount of people would depend on which constellation they need to use. So, I don't know the other 3 prominent stars in the Crux constellation, but say Panda got tagged with the Imai star, Megami would get tagged with one of the others, cone with one of the others, and then Hoshi would take the place as the 4th star in that constellation. Or possibly Hoshi could be that 5th one, and there could be room for another 4th person to be affected outside of themselves. I really like this idea because it could give gradual expansion to the curse technique, and then obviously Hoshi would have the same capabilities if gotten to the correct level of other sorcerers, so domain expansion and all this other stuff. But for just the technique itself to gradually increase with ability and experience, I think it would make a lot of sense for using a constellation that has 6 major stars in it to be a lot more technically difficult and require more cursed energy than using something like the Crux constellation that only has 4 major stars in it. So the more people you want to affect with the cursed technique at once would assumedly mean more cursed energy and technically more difficult to do. So that would be a nice little gradual scale. Granted, I don't think we're going to get to see Hoshi's progression from being able to use a 3 or 4 star constellation up to a 6 or 7 star constellation. I don't think we'll get to see all that. Hoshi isn't really a main character. In fact, hasn't been introduced till, 153 we got the proper introduction? Yeah, we made it a while in here. So we're not going to really get that progression, but I think it's a neat idea. So, other than that, I'm trying to think if there's really anything else I can really connect into this at the moment through sheer speculation, because it really is hard to correlate each bit of the effect and the little sparks over the head and everything else and round it all neatly into a package. I think this is going to be a much more diverse curse technique, and there's going to be like 2, 3, or 4 different rules that roll into the core of it being pick a constellation with however many stars correlate with however many people you want to affect. So I'm thinking that is a good core for it, but yeah, it's gonna be complicated in some way, shape, or form. But I hope we do get enough from it and enough explanation on it here soon, because, well, then it's another one that can be added to the list of my curse technique explained videos. I have an entire series I've been working on for those. I don't have too terribly many left. I think 4 or 5. This would add another one, so 5 or 6. And yeah, I think this would be a good one to get in there. So if you enjoyed the video, like I said, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. And if it interests you at all, go check out my Curse Technique Explains video. I have a playlist on my channel. You can go check that out. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you next time. I'm out.